then we will be talking. So the today's lecture will be focused on international introduction to international financial reporting standards. As you have already know that it is very important that for harmonization of accounting practices and for harmonization of various policies which are adopted for preparing the financial statement, it is very important to follow same set of language of business as is adopted by the other concerns or in our country as well as in the other countries, because we are following the concept of the global business, because the businesses are not now only conducted at the local level or regional level or the national level, but they are conducted at the global level. Even the in the yesterday's or in the previous lecture also we discussed about it, that the businesses are conducted at the global level, and there are cross investments. Even the companies from the US, UK, or other parts of the world are also investing in the companies of India, and Indian companies and Indian multinationals are also investing in the shares of the other companies. So, therefore, the financial statements which we are preparing uh, for our stakeholders, they must be having the same adopted, same set of language of the business, that they must convey the same standards following the accounting statement, so that it is understandable, it is communicatable, and it is also comparable, and there is a transparency, full disclosure as per the requirements of the different stakeholders. So this is very important. That's why we have the concept of globalization or harmonization of the accounting practices, accounting policies that we discussed in the previous lecture. So now today we'll be talking about what are the international financial reporting standards, what is the need of it, what kind of international financial reporting standards has, and how they are playing a proactive role in harmonization of the various accounting policies and methods and methodologies which are adopted by the different companies. So here the most elementary and fundamental, this is the most important and elementary and fundamental area of commerce, which is how to read a financial statements. If different accounting systems are prevailing in the system, and all the companies are preparing their financial statements according to their own policies and own practices, and they are not following the standardized practice, then it is very difficult to read the financial statements. To a layman, financial statement, we talk about it as a balance sheet and profit and loss account. However, the numbers given in those alone do not give the correct picture to the readers unless one carefully goes through the notes to the accounts, one carefully goes through the cash flow statements, one carefully goes to the various qualifications if the any auditor's report has there. So therefore the language of the business must be communicatable. So therefore we must have followed certain structure of accounting, and that structure is standardized. So therefore it is very important that must have the same set of language, same set of standards, same set of policies which are followed all over the world. So in the previous lecture also we emphasized on one thing, and that emphasis is when we define accounting, we said that accounting is a language of the business, and through this language we communicate the financial results and health of this enterprise, our enterprise, to various interested parties by meaning of the by presenting them periodical financial statements. So like any other language should have a grammar and these set of rules of accounting standards, so therefore in accounting also we must have some kind of language. So the objective of the international financial reporting standard is threefold. First, they help to standardize the diverse accounting policies and eliminate the incomparability of financial statements within an entity and across the entity. Within entity, that means if you have your company has 10 branches and every branch is following its own set of rules and there is no comparability, so then comparability within entity will not be possible. So similarly across entities. So that means you must follow the same accounting policies and standard which other companies are following, so that there is a comparability. This is one thing. Second thing is, when you use certain standardized format of accounting policies, they facilitate the preparation of high quality, transparent and comparable information in the financial statement. This is second objective. Third objective is they reduce the accounting alternatives and therefore eliminate the subjectivity in the financial statement. As you know, when you was in plus one and plus two, you may be discussing, when you was discussing the chapter of depreciation, there are number of alternative methods of the depreciation. Some are using straight line method, some are using written down method, some are using sum of years of digit method. So there are number of methods which were followed in the depreciation. So if every company will be following its own methodology, then we cannot compare the accounts of one company with another company. So therefore, to bring transparency and comparability, it is very important that you must reduce the accounting alternatives and thereby eliminate the subjectivity in the financial statements. So when we have a set of standards, there will be written that for these kind of assets, you can only written down value method. For these kind of assets only, you will be using the straight line method. So all the companies will be following the same set of standards, and there will be then comparability. So only then the same language will be having, and that is communicatable to all the people. So therefore, this is the basic purpose, three basic purpose which the accounting standards fulfill. First, they help to standardize the diverse accounting policies and eliminate the incomparability. Secondly, they facilitate the presentation of high quality, transparent and comparable information. And thirdly, they reduce the accounting alternatives and thereby eliminate the element of subjectivity in the financial statement. This is three purposes for which these accounting standards in the form of international financial reporting standard has been prepared. Now, I'm using again and again word the international financial reporting standards. Sometimes I say IFRS. So what does it mean? What it comprise of? Because we are hearing so many terms. We are hearing about international accounting standards. We are hearing international financial reporting standards. We are hearing INDAS. We are hearing about standard interpretation committees, reports, SICs. So whether it include all these? So basically, the globalization of financial market has made increased focus on international standards in accounting, and has intensified the efforts to bring a set of high quality, globally acceptable set of accounting standards. So financial statements which are prepared in the different countries according to these set of rules means numerous national set of standards, and in each standard within its own set of interpretation about a similar transaction. So it makes it very difficult for to compare, analyze and interpret financial statements across the nation if they prepare their own. So in the context of this, we have at the international level International Accounting Standard Board, which is very important accounting standard setting body, and it is a independent body. It is a global standard setting body, and which has prescribe some of the standards, which include basically four things. Number one, because as far as the term IFRS is concerned, International Financial Reporting Standard, it is of recent origin. So a few years back, this concept emerged as a point of discussion. But earlier, we were using the term IAS, that is International Accounting Standards. So as far as when I use the term IFRS, so it includes four things. Number one, first thing which is included is the International Accounting Standard. Around 41 International Accounting Standard has been issued by the International Accounting Standard Board. That will remain there. But after that, when it starts preparing new set of standard, they start preparing IFRS, which is known as International Financial Reporting Standard. IFRS 1 to 10 has been issued. Similarly, we have certain interpretations which are given by, there is a standard interpretation committee of International Accounting Standard Board. They time to time issued certain clarifications in the form of standard interpretation committees, because when you spell out one standard, but it needs further clarification, then such further clarifications are the given in the form of SICs, which are known as standard interpretation committees. So similarly, there are certain IFRICs, that is also clarifications which are given by the International Accounting Standard Board committees on various issues which are related to uh, these international financial reporting standards. So therefore, when I say IFRS, it means both IAS also, IFRS also, SIs also, and IFRICs also. So these are all included in the format of international financial reporting standard. So as far as International Accounting Standard Board is concerned, which is constituted and which is a international accounting standard setting body, it has basically four objectives. Number one, to develop a single set of high quality, understandable, and globally accepted IFRS through its standard setting body, that is IASB. So the basic objective of the formation of International Accounting Standard Board is to prepare a single set of high quality standards. Number two, it must be understandable and it has enforceability at global level, so that every country, because every country has its own standard setting bodies, so they are members of the International Accounting Standard Boards. So all people join together, discuss it, and then globally accept it. Secondly, its objective is to promote the use of numerous application of these standards. So all accounting standard bodies which are the member of the IASB, then they float it in their own countries. They ask their companies through various laws to accept the acceptability of the IFRSs. So similarly, it takes account of financial reporting needs of the emerging economies and small and medium enterprises. So it also brings out convergence of national accounting standards and IFRS to the high quality solutions. So convergence to global accounting standards. This IFRS facilitates comparability between enterprises operating in different jurisdictions, even in one country or in different countries. So thus global accounting standards would remove a frictional element to the capital flows and lead to wider and deeper investments in the market. So it facilitates. So when you know that same accounting standards are followed in America and American people know that same accounting standards are followed in India, they will be very happy and they will compare the financial statements of your company with along with the other companies and can arrive at a fruitful conclusion whether to invest into that or not. So therefore, it is very important that convergence of all accounting standards which are prepared by the accounting standard bodies of the different countries with the international financial reporting standards which are prepared by the International Accounting Standard Board. So convergence with IFRS is also in the industry interest, since compliance with them would be able to create greater confidence in the minds of the investors, and it will reduce the cost of raising the foreign capital. So it is also a burdensome and costly for enterprises across the various countries to comply with the multiple and national accounting standard and convert them into a single set of standard for grouping reporting purpose. So if you have doing business in India and you have to list in the stock exchange of US or UK or UN, then naturally if they have separate set of standards and you have to prepare the different accounting statements for different purposes, then it will be very costly affair. So when you have followed the same set of accounting standards at the international level and you are also converging your accounting standards at the national level and accordingly follow it, so it will reduce all these delicacies which are the need of the art. So this comparability has taken a very good view, and even if we consider the situation in India, Indian government has taken so many efforts with the help of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, with the help of Securities and Exchange Board of India, with the help of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and they have they are trying to converge their Indian accounting standards also with the international financial reporting standards as prepared by the International Accounting Standard Board, and Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, which is a accounting standard setting body of India, is also member of the International Accounting Standard Board. So the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Government of India, when IFRSs were issued, they set up a high-powered core group under the chairman of the Secretary, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, to study the impact of IFRS and to understand the preparedness of the Indian companies for converging with the IFRS. So this committee, which was formed in the headship of Secretary of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, they submitted its report and they have prepared a roadmap towards IFRS convergence for companies from April 1, 2011, has been finalized by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs in January 2010. So we are now in the process of issuing the Indian Accounting Standard, which is a converged format of the International Financial Reporting Standard. So convergence also entails maintaining consistency and legal and regulatory requirements as prevalent in our country also. So toward this end, various amendments has been needed to make the existing laws and regulations, notably in the Companies Act 1956 and then the latest Companies Act, which is in the 2000. So it has various provisions, schedules that detail the requirements of the financial position. So all of it has been amended till now, and Institute of Chartered Accountant of India is making very vast efforts in this regard. So there is a Institute of Chartered Accountant of India has already included a comparative study of Indian accounting standard with the international accounting standards in the syllabus of even CA final year students. So there are a number of things which has been done by the as far as the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is concerned, to converge the Indian accounting standards in as per the requirements of the international financial reporting standards. The most important aspect is that when we have single set of accounting standards, so it promotes so many things. So this is also considered as the importance of the international financial reporting standard. One, it ensures the transparency. So when you have disclosure practices as per the requirements of the different international financial reporting standards, and in these standards it is prescribed that these things has to be disclosed, and their formulas, their explanations, their notes are required to be given in the financial statement. So it will definitely bring transparency. Secondly, it will bring relevance, because when there is a comparability, definitely the financial statements will be relevant for us for decision making. So it will protect the investors interest, because when there will be so much disclosures in the financial statements, their money which they have put in, either in the form of creditors or in the form of shareholders, that will be considered as safe. Similarly, because I have already said it, that in India, Ministry of Corporate Affairs is working with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So all these bodies will ensure the regulatory compliance, and they have made it compulsory as per the rules of the Companies Act, that every company has to comply with these standards while preparing their financial statements. So definitely all these issues will bring more relevance and transparency in the standard. As I have already said to you, that as far as procedure for issuing as far as presently, if we look into it, so in International Accounting Standard Board has almost issued 41 standards, which reveals on the various aspects, that is IAS 1 to IAS 41. So they deal with the various policies, for example, presentation of the financial statements, measurement of the inventories, statement of cash flows, accounting policies, events after the balance sheet date, construction contracts, income taxes. So this is very long. So around 41, these are issues. Similarly, around we have a 32 standard interpretation committees. Various committees have issued various interpretation regarding the various standards. They are also part of the IFRS. Similarly, International Accounting Standard Board has issued 10 IFRS on various issues uh, uh, since 31st December 2009. So they are also part of the International Financial Reporting Standard. So this is the basic structure of the international financial reporting standards. So naturally, when we talk about what is the procedure of issuing the standards. For example, if you have accounting standard board in India, which is the part of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and at the international level, we have the International Accounting Standard Board. So they have a very proper procedure to issue the standard. First of all, the question arises, the first step in issuing the or promulgating a new standard is they set up an agenda. So first the problem arises. And when the problem arises, that is discussed in the various accounting standard bodies of the different countries. Then they discuss it with the International Accounting Standard Board. Then International Accounting Standard Board set an agenda and meetings are called. And after setting the agenda, there is a consideration that whether there is a need to issue a particular accounting standard on one particular issue. Then after that is agenda is set. When the agenda is set, second step is they have to plan the project. Then they constitute a committee or a subcommittee. Then that committee is entrusted the task that on this agenda which is set, you have to prepare a project to prepare accounting standards. So in this way, planning is done. And third part is the committee which prepare the project, they develop and publish a discussion paper on that. So on particular theme for which we are going to set up the accounting standard, a particular draft is prepared, and that draft is developed in the form of a discussion paper, which is then circulated to various accounting standard bodies across the world. For example, in India, we have a ICAI. Similarly, in Pakistan Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is there, UK, other countries, every country has its own kind of accounting standard bodies. Then that discussion paper is circulated along them. Then in turn, these accounting standard bodies circulate among various stakeholders. So this is the draft of the discussion paper, and we are going to have an international accounting standard on that. So therefore, you must discuss it. So then everybody discuss it and they then give their views on it. When such views are compiled by that committee, and then they issue a develop a exposure draft in the form of a standard, rough standard that is not final. Then that exposure draft is followed a particular procedure. Then after discussion and comments on the exposure draft, again that is IFRS, that becomes an IFRS. It is issued by to the International Accounting Standard for body for adoption, that is IAS body, gets that draft, and after discussion they publish that draft in the form of a standard. So this is a procedure. First we set up the agenda, then we plan the project, and then develop and publish a discussion paper. Then we develop and discuss a exposure draft. Then procedure after IAS and IFRS is followed, and then finally publish the final standard. So in this way, this is a process which we follow to develop a particular accounting standard at the national level as well as at the international level. So various companies are making so many efforts, various bodies are making so many efforts to adopt all these accounting standards in the purview of their accounting system, and that is helping. There are a number of benefits which are enjoyed by the convergence of these international financial reporting standards with the local standards, and even investors, industry, accounting professionals, corporate world, and the economy is benefited out of it. But there are certain challenges also which are there when we try to implement the accounting standards in a particular country, and when we try to converge the Indian accounting standards or accounting standard of a particular country with the international financial reporting standards. So these are certain challenges. For example, sometime there is a very technical expertise is needed, and in technical expertise is not present in that particular country. So that is a difficulty. So sometimes CAs are not trained, sometimes accountants are not trained. So unless and until that is trained, but that is not an issue. Over the year, various bodies are making efforts to bring such kind of things in our system. Similarly, it is very important that investors must understand these standards before it is implementation. So we have to maintain a consistency So it is not there that in 1 year you have to follow it and another year you may not follow it. So you have to adopt these from the core of your heart by giving a unreserved and explicit statement that we will follow all these IFRSs. So sometimes there is a reluctance to change by the industry itself, and these are the certain issues which can pose certain problems to implement international financial reporting standards in particular countries. So therefore, there is a need of diverse efforts by the various accounting standard bodies as well as the various departments which deals with the industry, with the corporate affairs, so that we can have international financial reporting standards implemented in our country. Still in India, there was a roadmap, but that roadmap has not been followed because industry's preparedness is not there. Even our chartered accountants preparedness is not there to implement it. And sometimes, because I have guided one or two PhDs on international financial reporting standard, and in the surveys we have found that many of the chartered accountants are not even aware about the various concepts which are present in the international financial reporting standard. So even the concept of fair value, which is very important and has been implemented in the all these IFRS, even the chartered accountants are not aware about the concept of the fair value. So there is a need of training of all our stakeholders so that we can implement it. So this is the basic objective of today's structure, that I have to just give you the glimpse of the various things which are related with the introduction of the IFRS. And for this, I will prescribe to you, I have my own book, which is Modern Accounting Theory and Reporting and Practice. In this first chapter, which is dealing with the introduction to the IFRS, that you may get photocopied. I will try to send you on your WhatsApp group so that you may not be try to get this book and then photocopied it. I will just send you the chapter so that you can be benefited out of. So now all of you are required to on your video so that we can have certain questions on the various issues. On your videos, all of you must on your videos. Yes, now I have a gallery view on my screen. I can see you all, but still certain persons are there who has not on your videos. अपनी अपनी video on करो. You will be you can see your videos on YouTube also after one day. So okay, so I will start from Gitanjali 5901. Gitanjali, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what do you want to say? If you have any query first, if you don't have any query, then comment on the discussion which we have taken today.
We prepare the same type of accounts are prepared at the international level, and we eliminates the incomparability in accounts and reduce alternatives, standardize our accounts.
Very good, very good. Because the basic purpose of having international financial reporting standard is to remove the incomparability. And as Gitanjali has said, incomparability, how it will be removed? By removing the various alternatives which we have in the accounting system. So when various alternatives will be reduced, same set of procedure, same set of accounting policies, same set of accounting methodologies will be followed by all the enterprises and they will become comparable. So, पहली चीज है, it's very good. All of you must develop a confidence to speak. पहली चीज है कि क्वेश्चन ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਆਉਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ हैं. You must speak because in post graduation we are going to prepare you for teaching as well as industry where you have to speak and present your view, otherwise ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ stand ਕਰੋਗੇ. So Divya 5928.
Yes, sir.
Yes, what do you want to say?
सर फर्स्ट थिंग आज की डिस्कशन में हमने क्या पढ़ा है, हमने आईएफआरएस के बारे में पढ़ा है। आईएफआरएस में क्या इंक्लूड है? आईएफआरएस अकेला आईएफआरएस वर्ड में ही हम लोग इंटरनेशनल अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स को इंक्लूड करते हैं। 41 अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स हमें ऑलरेडी दे दिए गए हैं। उसके अलावा हमने क्या पढ़ा है कि जो स्टैंडर्ड इंटरप्रिटेशन कमेटी जो हमारे लिए बनाई गई है, उन्होंने जो इंटरप्रिटेशन हमारे लिए दी है कि हमारी जो अकाउंटिंग सिस्टम है वो और अच्छे से जो है वो डेवलप हो और ग्लोबली जो है वो रिकॉग्नाइज हो सके और सेम हम लोग सभी लोग सेम तरह के अकाउंटिंग फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बना सकें ताकि वो कंपेरेबल भी हो, अंडरस्टैंडेबल भी हो और जो लोग हैं जितने भी इन्वेस्टर्स हैं चाहे वो विदाउट जुरिसडिक्शन जो हम बोलते हैं, विदाउट जो एक बाउंड्री लाइन के अलावा उस चीज को हटा के हम लोग जो है उन अपनी जो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैं उनके बारे में नॉलेज ले सके। इसके लिए हमें जो है आईएफआरएस में ये अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड इंटरप्रिटेशन कमेटी ने जो हमें स्टैंडर्ड इंटरप्रिटेशन दी है वो भी इंक्लूड होती है। और उसके अलावा हमने पढ़ा है कि जो हमारा इंडिया है, इंडियन अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं, वो भी जो है वो ट्राई कर रहा है कि हम उसको कन्वर्जेंस कर सके अकॉर्डिंग टू द इंटरनेशनल अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स या फिर कह सके कि आईएफआरएस के अकॉर्डिंग। जो हमारी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट की जो आईसीआई है वो भी ट्राई कर रही है और उसके अलावा जो है हमारी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सेक्रेटरी कॉर्पोरेट सेक्रेटरी जो है सेक्रेटरी ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स जो है वो भी ट्राई कर रही है ताकि जो हमारे इंडियन अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं वो भी इंटरनेशनल अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स के अकॉर्डिंग जो है वो काम कर सके।
God bless you, beta. So develop such kind of confidence as Divya has shown, as earlier I think Gitanjali has shown. So Simran, can you hear me, Simran? 5-9. Yes, Simran, on your video. सिमरन ने ऑफ कर लिया। यस सिमरन, चलो आई मूव टू श्वेता। श्वेता पजनी 5929।
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. What do you want to say?
Sir, जैसे as Divya has discussed, I would like to add further. उसके आगे हमें आपने आज पढ़ाया that issuing new standards at national and international level. How is that done? First, there are certain agendas that are discussed. Then there is some planning done. Then setting up of discussion paper and circulated among different stakeholders. This is some of the points of the process that is followed for issuing a new standard on international and national level.
Very good. So, so today discussion was just limited to introduction of the IFRS. So I will advise you कि on internet, on this Google search, you can make certain searches on that, find out some new information, and accordingly you can prepare your notes. So thank you very much for today. So all of you are trying to participate, पर मैं चाहूँगा कि अगे होर भी इसनूं असी more discussion oriented बनाइए, so that we can have benefit of your study also. So because it should not be a one-way traffic from my side only, you should also speak and participate. So I will be sending you certain videos in future on various issues, which will I will record simultaneously so that we can save the time of delivering you the lectures. So, and the hybrid system of teaching can be adopted. So thank you very much. But those who are not attending the classes, I will be daily putting your absentees on your group also. So after 7 days, we will started taking action against you, because this is very, very serious issue, because this course is totally different from the MCOM general course and is difficult also from that angle. So therefore, it needs your participation in this. So thank you very much. Now MCOM BA students can exit from the class. So other students can join it. Thank you very much.